Giganta challenged Wonder Woman to a wrestling match. It was a huge mistake. I didn't attend Megacon this year, but one of my comic books did. It came back to me signed, and we're going to unbox it in Comic Book Editions Volume 228 today. Welcome, and thanks for stopping by. Before we begin, I'll let you know of a few other things that are going on my channel, like the Back Issue of the Week YouTube short that dropped yesterday morning. This week it's about the new Teen Titans. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, I hope you'll take a moment to do so. The greatest DC comic show on YouTube is Fanboys Live in the Retro Review every Sunday night, just like this past Sunday night and this upcoming Sunday. Signature King Tony Fett, silver-haired Bronze Age Babe, Comic Food 2814, probably not Tim the Comic Collector, but we miss him, are all part of the show, and we have a lot of special guests that are stopping by too, so make sure to check us out or catch the rewind, because that's always a fun time. I would love to have Bronze Age Bryon back as a guest on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. He has already been a guest. I would love to have him back on again this year. Bryon did me a huge solid, a huge favor. He went to Megacon this year, and I asked, would it be possible if I sent one of my comic books down and some money and some return postage, could you get it signed for me? And he did. He was so kind to take care of it and get it signed by a legendary comic book creator. That's what we're unboxing today. But Bryon also told me, I sent some other stuff for you too, which he absolutely didn't have to do. Bryon is such a great friend. I love talking to him. Obviously, with a name like Bronze Age Bryon, you know, he loves the Bronze Age of comic books, which is completely my jam. So the type of books that he likes are the type of books that I like. So we always have great conversations. Bryon has AOK'd me in the past. You might remember, like Comic Book Editions Volume 51 was one of the videos where he had AOK'd me. This is his third AOK to me, and it means the world to me. So the book that he got signed for me, obviously, like I mentioned, I know what it is because it came from my collection. I sent it down. He even sent me a picture and a video of the creator signing it too. Not that I doubted that it wouldn't be authentic. Didn't think that at all. But it still was cool getting to actually see my book being there. The next best thing to being there, I guess I should say. Let's put you in fast forward mode. Let's share this new signature that's in my collection and see what else he sent me. Let's go. Okay, we're ready. I just peeked just by a smidge on the corner and I saw that my book is the one that's on top. So that's going to be the one that we're going to share first today. And Bryon, I just want to thank you before I even start sharing this stuff. Again, this is time away from your convention experience that you went to do something for me, and that's not lost on me. Where I live, I don't necessarily get the chance to see a lot of the big creators. And so Bryon and everyone else who's helped make sure to get some signatures into my collection, it truly has meant a lot to me. With that have been shared, and I truly do mean that. Let's look at this first book that's up. Oops, I think I didn't grab the first book. I think I grabbed the second, although I didn't look at it. Oh, I got a note too. Okay, I got my first book and I got a note. Hi, Ryan. Here's a special shipment just for you direct from Megacon 2025 and from the archives of Bronze Age Bryon. Enclosed, you will find your signed edition of Wonder Woman, issue number, I'll reveal that in a second, signed by, and I'll reveal that in a second, along with a few extra comics from my personal stash to yours. I took a chance and included a few freebies that will help pad the shipment. Hopefully, the Orion Syndicate won't intercept this delivery across the neutral zone from Florida to Wisconsin. Be well, my friend. Hope to see you someday soon at a con with the whole Florida crew. Live long and prosper, Bryon. Thank you so much, Bryon. That is awesome. Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me and for helping me out. You were the first person I turned to when I saw that, you know, this opportunity to get this creator to sign this at Megacon. You know, I'm like, oh, I kind of really want this to happen. You were the first person I turned to, and you're like, yep, it's done. We'll do it. So this is the book. It's going to be, like I said, I've seen a picture of it, and I've seen a video of it getting signed, but this is my first look at it with the actual signature on it, which is right there, right in the middle. To Ryan, Gerry Conway. Oh, that is so awesome. Wonder Woman Volume 1, issue number 275. If you don't know, this book has very special and significant meaning to me. I own the original cover art to this cover. So I was trying to decide what book should I have Gerry Conway sign. And I debated between a few things, and this was always in the running, and I thought, you know what? This is the one that you have the cover art to. This is the book you should have him sign. And Gerry Conway's a legend. Think of all of the characters that he's written or books he's been a part of. This is one of my favorite issues, too. It's the introduction of Debbie Domain as the cheetah. So she was introduced in the previous issue, and on the last page of the previous issue, she gets revealed as the new cheetah. And so this is her first, she was kind of in the shadows in the cover of the previous issue, but this is her like right smack front and center on a cover. I remember getting this comic book from the spinner rack and just, you know, I always have been a Wonder Woman fan, but this cover, and I'm like, oh, it's, you know, Cheetah. I knew that Cheetah would be back from the previous issue, and this didn't disappoint me at all. And there's so many people, you know, associated with Wonder Woman Volume 1 that are gone. And I wish I would have done this a long time ago. I want to try to get at least some of the people, some of the creative team that were involved in Volume 1, I want to get signed comic books from them, because I don't know if I'll ever get another opportunity to do so. And like I said, this is something I wish that 5 or 10 years ago I was working on, and it just didn't kind of kick in until, you know, like the last year, to be honest with you, to try to go about and get some of these signatures. And I hope that I'm able to get some more added. And I hope the ones that were involved with Volume 1 that are still with us, you know, keep hanging around. And they're legends in the industry. And Gerry Conway, of course. I mean, he's written so many classic things. Recently on my channel, I showed the Superman versus Spider-Man treasury that I got. I mean, he was the writer of that too. But this is the book to get signed by Gerry Conway for me because of the personal connection. It's without a doubt 100% the book that I wanted, and I have this in the collection now. Thank you to you, Bryon. Like I said, you took time out of it, and you're just like, yeah, I'll get it taken care of for you. Amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm still, and even Bryon's like, oh my gosh, does the signature have to be in a certain place on the book or this or that? I'm like, no, I'd like him to personalize it to my name, but wherever he wants to sign at, or it's all cool. So, and I truly meant that, and it is awesome. I am beyond stoked. This is a great story too. We did feature this on a cheetah-themed Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. I say we, it was Signature King, Tony Fett, and myself, you know, back in the fall. And that was a good episode. Some really good cheetah stories with the introduction of Debbie, and we did a Priscilla Rich story as well. So check that out on the rewind, as they say. I do have my original art to this framed with a copy of the published comic book, but now I'm starting to think that I had it professionally done. Maybe I might want them to switch out the comic book to put my signed cover. Rich Buckler did the cover, and he's not with us anymore. Jose Delbo did the interior art. He's not with us anymore. So to have Gerry Conway, the writer, sign it is pretty cool. The original art, just in case, you probably know this already, but in case you don't, and I've shown it before, but the Huntress image and all of the lettering, none of that's on the original artwork. So, and as cool of a cover this is, you know, it's a nice yellow cover. The black and white is even better, and you know, it's on a bigger size piece of paper, and oh, thank you. I could talk about this book all day, and if I don't stop, I probably will. But we will move on, and now literally everything else that's in here, I have no idea what it could be or what it is. But the easiest way to find out is by sharing it. Let's find out together now. Ooh, we have a Shazam book. Look at that. Shazam 43, The Power of Shazam, number 43. That's a cool cover. Gerry Ordway, and I'm not surprised because as soon as I saw this cover just a moment, seconds ago, I thought this reminds me of the cover of Infinity Inc. issue number 4, which was a Gerry Ordway cover. I don't have a Gerry Ordway autograph in my collection, but I'd love to get one, and I'd love to get it actually on that Infinity Inc. number 4 with the deceased JSA on the table and the Infinity Inc. gathered around him. So this cover really reminded me of that. They're done by the same creator. That all makes sense. Mr. Signature King Tony, what do you think about this? Tony's a thumbs up because Tony's all about signatures, and Tony is all about more Shazam in anybody's collection, especially mine. So this might be my first Power of Shazam from that title, but I have other Shazam comic books in the collection, but this might be my first Power of Shazam. So if a Gerry Ordway signing is ever an opportunity for me, that's something I want to take advantage of. Another legend. Another legend. That's awesome. Oh, we got more. More Power of Shazam. Issue 1000, or excuse me, 1 million. I remember when DC did the 1 million, and they had all their titles were 1 million issues that month. So that's cool. I just said I haven't read a whole lot from this era. Not familiar with it, but I have no problem sitting down and reading a comic book, even if I haven't read any other issues before, even if it's in the middle of a story arc. That goes back to my childhood where when I got comic books, I just wanted to consume them. I didn't care if it was part of a story and I hadn't read the previous parts or whatever. And sometimes I read stories out of order, issues out of order in the story. I didn't care. I just loved to consume. I couldn't consume enough of the media. And any comic books I could get my hands on were just fascinating to me. So, and I've never outgrown that. Some people are like, oh, I have to have the full story before I'm going to read it. And that's no disrespect. That's the way you want to do it. That's cool. I myself can consume any content and be content with it. Although sometimes I have waited and read complete story arcs at once. And that is a nice way to read it as well. So I totally get the people that want to do that. Maybe if we can get Bryon to come back on Fanboys Live, he might choose a Shazam story. World's Finest. Oh, this is cool. 196, the Kryptonite Express. What a cover that is. See, they don't make covers like this anymore. This is awesome. And of course, recently, if you've been watching the channel with the Comic Book Editions video series, you've seen that I've put in some World's Finest comic books into my collection from the same era, like 198 and 199 I've recently gotten. So 199 I just got this year too, just showed that a few weeks ago in a video. So I love this era. Bronze Age Bryon, Bronze Age book, Bronze Age buddy. So that's nice. This is fun. This will be enjoyable just to sit down and enjoy this. I don't have this, haven't read this, not familiar with the story, but the cover's great. So thank you. I think there might be one more in the pile. Yes, one more. And it's a Future State Wonder Woman issue number 2 with Yara. So nice. Red cover. Started out with the yellows, ending with the reds. Perfect. I left a link to Bronze Age Bryon's YouTube channel in the description for this video. Sub him up. Bryon might not be putting out a lot of content at the current moment, but go check out the content that he has put out too, because it's good. The way his eye, how can I say this right? The way that he sees through the camera and the eye of the camera through him and his editing. Oh, I am so jealous. When I watch Bryon's channel and Bryon's videos, it makes me wish I was a better YouTuber. That's maybe the highest compliment that I can give someone is I wish I was a better YouTuber. I wanted to do videos the way that he does videos. So that's awesome. Thank you, Bryon, for these extra books, for getting the signature for me, but mostly for being my friend. You are awesome. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate that. And everything that you've ever done for me too. Truly appreciate that. Another AOK video from Bryon, Bronze Age Bryon, is Comic Book Editions Volume 82. So check that out if you would like as well. You can see some of the great stuff that he's gifted me in the past. Before we go on with today's Comic Book Editions Volume 228, if you're not subscribed to my channel, I hope you take this opportunity to do so. Giving the video a thumbs up, a like, a heart is something that the algorithm seems to dig. I love reading your comments. At the end of today's video, leave me a comment and let me know what your favorite thing was that I showed in today's video. And I'm not done sharing stuff, just to let you know. Not done. But I'd love to know what you thought of the stuff in today's haul. If you have any of it in your collection, if you're looking for any of it, do you have Gerry Conway autographs? If so, on what comic book or what item? Let me know about that too. So let's dialogue about all of that too. Sharing the channel is another great way to show support. You know, we're getting close, not that far from 850, but really 1,000 is the ultimate goal. And if you could help me get there, I truly would appreciate it. Thank you to all the new subscribers, but mostly thank you to my returning friends that come back and want to just check out how my comic book collecting progress has been going. Because that's kind of essentially what these videos are. They're just video blogs about how my collecting journey has gone. So thank you. We go from Bronze Age Bryon to my friend Bryon, who lives in Madison, Wisconsin. I've talked about Bryon many times. He has a twin brother who both are comic book collectors. Well, Bryon and I spent some time together, and he was so kind and gifted me some fun things that I thought I'd share in today's video with the Bryon theme. And he started out when he came to the door of my home. I saw him through the little window, and I saw him holding up this, a Wonder Woman bouncy ball. Bouncy, bouncy. I just thought that is so awesome. He got it at an arcade, I guess. He was doing some type of event for work, and they were at this arcade or whatever, and this was like a prize that you could win or something, and he got it, and he's like, oh, I'm going to give it to Ryan. So I got a little bouncy ball to play with. I used to love these things when I was a kid. Great image of Wonder Woman on it, too. So that's pretty awesome. So thank you. He brought me some Wonder Woman playing cards. Here, the cover to the playing cards is taken from the Wonder Woman Volume 3 Annual. That annual was the conclusion of the Who is Wonder Woman storyline. So thank you for the playing cards. My LCS, which is also Bryon's LCS as well, they have two different decks of the Wonder Woman playing cards. And the other deck that they have, I've had in my collection for a while, but I didn't have these. So that helps me get a little bit closer to completing it. So I used to buy a lot of Wonder Woman merchandise too. In the last few years, not nearly as much as I used to, just for space reasons and for financial reasons. But there's always room for a pack of cards. And plus, I'm also completing a set because I have the other set of these cards. So nice. Thank you. Then, I didn't ask him to do this, but I'm so thankful that he did. He went to the dollar store and found some of the DC Rebirth comic books. So DC tried this partnership, and I don't know if they're going to continue it or not, but they put new printings of some of the Rebirth era comic books in the dollar store. So these have different advertisements than the original. I tell you, when you touch these, they feel so much thinner than a normal comic book. So I haven't opened mine yet, but you can tell by the back too that this is different back cover, but new original printing. So this would be like a fourth printing, at least for this issue. And I used to never collect the multiple printings of an issue, but the completist in me when it comes to the Wonder Woman title is starting to go back in and make sure that I get some of those and all the multiple print. I'm so old school that it used to be if it isn't first printing, you don't want it. And now you realize that some of the third, fourth printings are really the ones you want because there's not as many of those as the other printings. So I was so happy he was able to find this for me. He also brought this one, which I didn't even know existed. Obviously, I knew the comic book existed. I didn't know that there was a new printing of it that was available at the dollar stores. I've been looking at my dollar stores and then area dollar stores. They never got it. They never got these. And they were in like a big display cardboard case or something too that I've seen pictures of. Bryon got this at the dollar store that's right by the LCS, and I've even looked in there. He said he only saw him there one time, and he went back another time, completely gone. So I'm so glad that he didn't think about it. He didn't ask me. He just picked them up and gifted them to me, and I was more than appreciative of him doing that. And besides getting the 2 Wonder Womans, which is definitely what I need, he picked up some more for me, like the Batman Rebirth. I had received a copy of this with a different cover, with an exclusive cover from my friend Mr. Fridge Art. And I've had that for a while, so I've read the story. This is part of the Tom King run of Batman, and it does the introduction of Gotham and Gotham Girl at the end of the story. This was a good issue. I need to just jump on the digital app and read some more of that to see what kind of progressed in the storyline, because I honestly don't know. I also, maybe I haven't done that because I keep thinking that this might be a good book to review sometime, a few issues of, on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. That's kind of been my thought process behind it too. But I was happy to have another copy of this with a cover that I didn't have. So, and he wasn't done with Batman. He got me the Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries, issue 1. I used to love Scooby-Doo, and I love the ones where they would team up with different celebrities. And I even remember Scooby-Doo teams up with Batman and Robin was an episode. I always loved it, especially when they teamed up with Batman and Robin. But I became aware of celebrities like Phyllis Diller, Jonathan Winters, from them being on as a cartoon version of themselves on the Scooby-Doo show. I knew Sonny and Cher. I like those episodes, the Addams Family episodes as well, teaming up with the Scooby Kids. So this will be fun to enjoy too. This will be a lot of fun. And one more from this line that he got me was the Green Arrow Rebirth. I don't know a whole lot about this except for that cover is pretty freaking wicked. And that's very good. Speaking of Green Arrow, Stephen Amell, of course, known to play Green Arrow. And I see that he's got a new show. I just saw an advertisement for that on TV. So I'll have to check that out sometime and see if that's any good. If you've seen it, let me know in the comment section if it's any good. So very thankful for my friend Bryon for picking these up for me. But he wasn't done either. He got me I Am Wonder Woman early reader book. And I don't mean to brag or nothing, but I read the entire book in one sitting. Just saying. This kind of does a brief history of her origin. And one thing that's interesting that Bryon and I were talking about, as Diana Prince, she realizes there's 2 crimes happening at the same time. There's a robbery at the zoo, and then there's a train that could go off the tracks or something like that. And she chooses that one to go and save, and they never mention the zoo thing again. You know, the robbery at the zoo. I thought, well, that'd probably lead into Cheetah or something, but no, they just never mentioned it again. There were 2 crimes or 2 things going on at the same time, and she chose one, and they never mentioned the other one again. I guess it felt like they ran out of room. They're like, oh, this has got to be wrapped up within so many pages, and they just originally were probably going to go to that other one and just cut it out. I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing at this point, and that's a very big word for me in my channel, hypothesizing. So it was fun. And if I want to keep reading and reading easily, there is Wonder Woman, the 5-minute stories. I could get 15 minutes of enjoyment out of this book because there's 3 different stories in here. The first story deals with Wonder Woman versus Ares. The second story deals with Wonder Woman and Cheetah. Get a Wonder Woman and Cheetah story in there. And then the third and final story is Wonder Woman versus Circe, but you get a surprise appearance in that by Aquaman. So a little guest starring appearance by Aquaman in the third story as well. So nice little hardcover here. Yeah, it's fun. It's cool to have in the collection, as they say. And one more thing I want to show in Comic Book Editions, volume 228 today, that Bryon gifted me, was this. And this is Wonder Woman, The Ultimate Guide to the Amazon Warrior. This was done for her 75th anniversary several years back. I'm very familiar with seeing this book and seeing this book at different places, and I look at it and I'm like, yeah, because that was Wonder Woman at the time that this book was published. But then I started paging through the book, and I start seeing, it's truly a history of Wonder Woman, covering the Golden Age. You've got some beautiful Alex Ross there. You got modern stuff. You've got Bronze Age. And it's talking about not only her and the Amazons, but some of her villains. And there's some of the villains. Her and her being part of the Justice League, a founding member. Some of her allies as well. I loved what the contents of this book was. So, I might have been just honestly kind of been like, this is an okay era of Wonder Woman. But I kind of thought the entire book was just going to be this era. And then when I saw that it encompasses, really, at the time, all 75 of her years, I'm so glad I found that out and I have this in the collection now, because I really enjoyed this book even more than I thought I would. So thank you, Brian. So Bronze Age Bryon and my friend Brian coming through in today's video for me. I mentioned in last week's Comic Book Editions Volume 227 video that I had a friend, because I was showing some more Christmas gifts that I received. I said I'm going to spend time with a friend who has another gift for me. And that was my friend Brian and his twin brother, Michael. They teamed together to buy me a Christmas present, and it's an omnibus. And you know what? You're going to see it with some more omnibuses next week in Comic Book Editions Volume 229. So until then, see ya.